What's up guys, Jake here and I'm back bringing you guys another Hearthstone video. In this one I'm going to be going over a new deck that I've been playing recently. I actually got the list from Blame Truth, so definitely go check out his channel. He's a really good Hearthstone player. I know most people know him for like Call of Duty and things like that, but he's a very exceptional Hearthstone player, and I got this deck from him, and I think it's a very competitive deck. Now, this is an aggro warrior deck. Now, most warriors are played very controlled. They play a lot of armor buffing cards as well as a lot of legendaries for the late game to try and win them games that way. But Blame Truth came up with this deck, and I think it's pretty good. It's a really aggro build. The highest mana cost minion is Grim Patron, and that's a 5 cost. And I think it's just got a lot of potential, especially against other aggro decks like Hunter. I think it's got a very favorable Hunter matchup because of certain cards in this deck, and I think it's just got a lot of potential with the meta right now as it is, with a lot of aggressive Hunter decks. I think it's just a really good deck, and when I was watching him play it, he was actually, I believe he was at rank 9 or 10 playing it, and he was still very competitive with it. So I definitely think that shows it has a lot of potential. So I figured I would just go over the matchups and the cards that I run in this deck. Starting at the bottom, we run a lot more lower drop things. We run 2 Leper Gnome, which is good just to get damage at face. It's not exactly like a face deck. You're not just going to hit face every single time like the Scummy Hunters, but you have a lot of cards that do damage to the face, which is really nice. I also run 1 Execute and 2 Whirlwind, just good cards. Execute's just pretty standard, and Whirlwind's pretty much a necessity for buffing all your other cards like Amani Berserker, Frothing Berserker, and Raging Worgen. Aside from Whirlwind, we also run 2 Unstable Ghouls, 2 Taskmasters, and 2 Deathspite to help buff our minions and to get some of our combos off, which is really nice. And at the end of the game, you can get a lot of insane combinations going with your Whirlwinds or your Taskmasters or whatever else. And it just gets really crazy sometimes with the amount of stuff you can pull off at the end of the game. A lot of the times your opponent will never even see it coming, and it's just a really awesome feeling when you just reduce your opponent from 20 to 0 damage in a single turn. We also run 2 of each weapon. We run 2 Fiery Wind Axe because it's just a fantastic card. We also run 2 Deathspite, like I said, for buffing our other cards. We also run just the cards that benefit the most from taking damage, like the Amani Berserker, Frothing Berserker, and Raging Worgen. Those are all 3 really good cards to have in this deck. And like I said, it can really help you with explosive plays, especially if you get Warsong Commander in play at the same time. You can just throw 1 minion into something and do a bunch of damage to the board, some area of effect, and then all of a sudden you can you can attack twice with the Raging Worgen for quite a bit, for 8 damage. Amani Berserker can attack for 5, and it just gets really out of hand really quickly for your opponent. And aside from that, I also run 2 other cards from the Blackrock Mountain expansion. Now, I run Grim Patron. A lot of people really underestimated this card coming into this set. Looking at it doesn't seem particularly great. A 3/3 for 5 isn't that good. And a lot of the times, if you just place it down and do nothing else, end your turn, it'll just die and you won't get anything out of it. But with all the cards you run in the warrior deck, it's really good card. Like, you can pull off some insane combinations with Warsong Commander and all the other cards that can do area of effect damage. So I think it's just an outstanding card. It's probably my 2nd favorite card thus far coming out of the Blackrock Mountain set. And the other card I run, which might be a little bit strange to some people, is Axe Flinger. Now, looking at it, it's another card that seems pretty bad. It's a 4 cost minion, and it has a 2/5, and it can do 2 damage when it gets damage to the face. And so it doesn't seem very good just looking at it. But if you actually think about it, it's a very good card in the aggro matchups because it is a 2/5. And so it can deal 2 damage, and a lot of Hunter cards really only have 2 or less HP, and it has 5 HP as well. So you're not gonna die when you trade it into something. So I think it's a pretty good card for that reason, and it also can combo very well with all of the other stuff. But I think a lot of people, when they look at it, they think, oh, you're gonna have to try and buff up its HP and then play a bunch of Whirlwinds and stuff like that. I don't think that's the way to use it. I think it's better just to try and control the board, because you can trade it into multiple of your opponent's minions, and you can do damage to the face at the same time while doing it, which is actually really good. Like in this game, I don't really get to utilize it too much, but I think it's still a very good card, and I think, you know, if you guys haven't tried it out, I think you should, because it's, like I said, I think it's better than originally anticipated. And I also run 2 Kokron Elite because it's just a good card. A 4/3 with charge for 4 is pretty good, and it can really help you at the end of the game. And as far as draw power in this deck goes, I run 2 Battle Rage and 2 Acolyte of Pain, which both get an insane amount of value in this deck. And I just think that's sort of the name of this deck, is really just value. You get so much value from your cards. As you can see here, I've got the Warsong Commander Grim Patron combination on here, and it just gets ridiculous how much, you know, these little relatively small cost minions can do in terms of damage. Most of my games, I'm down the majority of the game, and by the end of the game, I'll have a nice big hand, and I'll be able to pull off some really cool combinations and win the game that way. So it's definitely a really awesome deck. I think you guys should check it out. Like I said, I mean, you can see the list on the screen, so you guys should definitely check it out. And as far as matchups go, I think it's really favorable for the meta right now, just because of a lot of aggro decks like the Face Hunter, mostly the Scum Hunter. It's really good against that, especially because of Axe Flinger. And with all the low-cost minions, it's really easy to keep up, and especially because you have a lot of area of effect cards that make your minions better, and a lot of the times will just kill theirs. So it's really favorable against that, and it's also really good against any deck that doesn't have an area of effect card that can do more than 3 damage. Reason being is that a lot of the times at the end of the game, if you get your Grim Patron up, and you have, you know, a full board of Grim Patrons, if they have an area of effect card, that would normally be really good, but if it doesn't do more than 3 damage, such as Holy Nova, or, I don't know, what else, like a Blade Flurry that isn't very much, you know, other ones, Consecration without Equality, there's a lot of ones like that that are typically, you know, even Lightning Strike, or Lightning Storm from the Shaman, you know, a lot of those cards, if they don't wipe out every single Grim Patron, then you're going to be able to get a lot more out of it. Whereas, you know, things like the Mage with Flame Strike, or Equality Consecrate, or, you know, like Hellfire with the Warlock can clear your board. Anything that doesn't have that, it's going to have a tough time dealing with it. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys want to see more Hearthstone videos, let me know by leaving a like, and I'll see you guys later. Peace.